What is happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Happy weekend. Hope you're having a good one. I'm finally figuring everything out. I'm now streaming through the Logitech Stream Cam. So far, so good. So far, so good. Max Capis, having a good chat to yourself in the chat, man. Welcome everyone. So yeah, today it's Sunday the 11th here in Sydney, Australia. It's probably Saturday other parts of the world, but yeah, this is just a weekend Q&A. Just talking shop, talking shit, just seeing what's going on, guys. Now, obviously, D23 is happening at the moment over in Anaheim, I believe. And holy shit, the amount of announcements that have come from this is absolutely insane. So much so, hey to everyone, Wyatt, Trevor, hey, Danny, how are you, man? Certified Scott, oi, you Aussie champ. G'day, guys. Welcome. Come on in. The more the merrier. So much so, I fell for a fake photo yesterday that was supposedly from D23. I've got it here on my phone, and it was essentially announcing Henry Cavill as Doctor Doom with the Fantastic Four movie with Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I'm pretty sure Krasinski is going to be Mr. Fantastic. It would be cool if his wife, Emily Blunt, was going to be Sue Storm. I really think that's just a very logical step and just something you could definitely do. But yeah, g'day guys, joining in JA Films, Callum Murphy. Welcome, guys. Again, this is just weekend Q&A, just talking shop, talking shit, just see what's happening with you guys. And yeah, this afternoon, I do have a photo shoot for a campaign for DC Super Pets. It's actually going to be utilizing my dog, Angus. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be heading out at lunchtime out to a park about an hour from here and get some nice shots and have to submit them all tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. So hopefully everything's working well. Again, I've been troubleshooting everything when it comes to the stream setup. Again, it's very beta, it's in the beta stages. You look at my first live stream from a month ago, that thing was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. But I am using the streamer cam now, which is what you see right here. So it's a lot easier to have the cam here and then obviously have my laptop here. And then, I can go back to the questions and also screen share if I want to. But so far, so good. And obviously, I've incorporated a LAN cable, so it's a direct network connection straight into the laptop, as opposed to the first live stream I did last month where it was relying on the Wi-Fi and it was just struggling to breathe. So yeah, let's just check to see what's going on here. All righty, guys, welcome. Come on in. Darth Sidious, when will you do more custom collectibles? I feel as if you have been unrelatable. Have become unrelatable. Fair enough. Okay. Sorry you feel that way, man. So look, I still do custom collectibles now and then. I like to think I've done a fair few in the last couple of months. So custom collectibles are hard to do. I'm a one-man show, so I've got to find the custom collectible to make and got to film it, edit it, everything. So I'm still doing my thing, man. I'm still doing my thing that I set out to do from day one when I started the channel. Cosplay stuff, prop stuff. The custom collectibles came a lot later, movie stuff. So I don't know. I'm sorry that you feel that I've become unrelatable, man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to that. I'm sorry about that, but each to their own. Gattaca, congrats on all your recent success, Chris, working in Hollywood and stuff. Thanks, man. So yeah, my stint in Hollywood was very short with what I did. So one was a film called I forget the name of it, with Thomas Ian Nicholas. It's on the tip of my tongue, on the top of my head. So it was with Thomas Ian Nicholas from American Pie, and I was essentially Adverse. I was just a stunt guy in it, and I just had to take a whack from him with a stunt tire iron, which was a lot of fun to do. And then the other one, which I'm hoping comes out very soon, is the Outlaw Johnny Black with Michael Jai White, the legendary Michael Jai White. So that was a lot of fun to do. Hopefully in the next couple of months, that's coming out. But I think also funding wise, they're trying to get to distribute it and all that type of stuff, even though they're an independent company, Gigantic Studios, that made the film. So yeah, that's my two stints there. And then other stuff that I've been working on for film has been here back in Sydney with Odd Studio and stuff like that. This coming week, I'm hoping to have the Kratos Axe video live. I'm waiting to get sign off on that. So hopefully Monday, everything gets signed off and I'm good to post the video. So I've got the full length video for YouTube and then a shorter video for Facebook and Instagram. So I'm just waiting on that. As soon as they give me the all clear, I can post that. So I'm very excited about that. Okay. Mark Joel G. Pew. Hey, Chris, any tips? Because I'm going to make an armored version of Comics Captain America. And I'm Mark from the Philippines. Just call me Mark. Well, hi, Mark from the Philippines. So if you're going to go armored Captain America, man, obviously I'd go the EVA foam route. I think that's EVA foam is a lot of fun when you get the hang of it because you can do so much to it and make it look like actual armor, like solid, old, rusty armor with how you detail it, how you finish it and stuff like that. So I think there are so many options with what you can do. Now, design-wise, I don't know. Do you want to go old school look from the comics? Are you wanting to go the Chris Evans route? That's where it just opens up a door of possibilities. And I think that's the most fun where you can kind of do your own thing as well, but have it stay true to the traditional look. I myself would do a mixture of EVA foam and 3D printing. So that's what I would do, but also 3D printing and then 3D design, that just gets more involved and stuff like that and can be quite costly. But if you're keen to do it, man, money shouldn't be an option. But I obviously would go the 3D printed route and the EVA foam, mix those two mediums together. And obviously with your paintwork, if you can make them look the same, killing it, absolutely killing it. Okay, see what else is going on here. Horror Clown 31. I love your repaint videos. It helps me on some of my projects. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like to think that hopefully people can take something away from what I do. And like some of the stuff that I've been doing, I've been using since I was like 12 or 13 years old, especially the shoe polish thing. You guys know that. In terms of the driveway dirt, there is like next to no driveway dirt left because mum and dad put gravel down and the driveway dirt's slowly been washed away by the rain and stuff like that. So it's like driveway gravel now, which is kind of sad. Also, this Tuesday, I'm doing a photo shoot finally and a video shoot for the Phantom. So I'm currently working on the cowl. So what I did was I made the urethane casting. This is the brand new cowl. And then I've gone in with a purple ink and just stained the whole thing. And then I'm dialing it back with isopropyl alcohol. If you guys can see all the texture there and all the detail. So I've got to do a couple of passes to get it back to not the original purple, but just enough that it matches the bodysuit and it also picks up all that detail with all the stitching. So that's this Tuesday afternoon, finally. Ideally, I was supposed to have gone down to Yas, pardon me, where I shot with The Witcher with Diesel, and there was another horse down there, a big, beautiful white horse that was going to be my hero for the shoot, but it's raining down there at the moment. So that was supposed to be this weekend now. So it was just a complete write-off, but we're going to do a shoot this Tuesday afternoon just for something, just to have that out there, do the full reveal and stuff like that, because the costume's been sitting here for so long. The cowl's been here, so I'm fixing up the cowl tomorrow, making sure that's all good. Purple is very hard to photograph, like really hard to photograph. It's amazing when you start working with purple, you're like, that looks pink. That's ridiculous. But then other times it looks purple. So it's hard to try and marry up urethane to fabric, but I'm going to get there. Luke Lenjik, Chris, do you respond to emails? I've sent you one where I asked about the typical durability of cosplays a while ago. I'm curious. So usually I do, man. Sometimes it might go to spam, and I rarely check my spam because it's just always just the worst stuff ever. So, but I really should, because there have been times where emails from people, not bots, have been there. So I'll go have a look, man, if it's under that name. But I sent one where I asked about the typical durability of cosplayers a while ago. So I'm curious, do you want to retype, like, just, Cliff Notes wise in here, man? And, be a nice little conversation there about the initial email that you sent. So that'd be cool. Justin Miller, awesome. Freddy Krueger life size. Thank you, man. Yeah, he's pretty much done and dusted. I am just waiting on the glove. The hand arrived, so I've got to weather that up. But yeah, just waiting on the glove. The glove is being shipped here as we speak in 2 separate parcels. To get gloves here, you have to ship them separately with the tips in another box. So hopefully, I doubt it'd be this coming week that it'll arrive. If it does, Hell yeah, that's awesome. So I'm excited. And once the glove's there and it's on there, so this is like a placeholder hand for now. It's I don't know if you guys saw the Nightmare Joker video I did. It's like the hose, garden hose, posable foam kind of thing. So it works for now, but ideally I want a posable silicon hand that you can get off Etsy. And they're like 110 bucks. That's really good for a silicon hand with a wire armature in it. It just makes it more believable when you've got the palm splits and all that, and you can see actual flesh instead of a 3D printed hand. Oh, wow. We got $2 from Thanora Raven. I hope I pronounced that correctly. You watched all of Cobra Kai. Thoughts? I'm up to episode 2. In the words of the Flickpick, I'm trying to savor the flavor, but also been flat chat this weekend. So I'm up to episode 2. Something got spoiled for me. I'm not going to say what, but it was a clip on social media and it was an autoplay clip. I was like, no. But so far, so good. Like, oh my God, especially like with Chosen and Terry Silver. They're just upping the ante. And I don't know, for those who aren't Australian, anyone who's familiar with Josh Lawson, who played Kano in Mortal Kombat, the recent Mortal Kombat film from last year. He has a surprise cameo in the first episode and he plays an absolute dickhead. And it was so cool to see because he's such a nice guy and he's a comedian here in Australia. He played a really good Kano. He was like the highlight of the Mortal Kombat film. And it was a really nice treat to see him there. So I'm really digging it so far. Only up to episode 2. I'm not sure how many episodes there are in total so far. But yeah, I'm really digging it. It's Cobra Kai is one of those shows where I get withdrawals when it finishes. And I'm like, when's the next season coming out? I haven't been like that with a show in a very long time. I think also because I grew up with the Karate Kid and it was that perfect time, you know, even though I was born in 88, the first one came out in 84. They're just still beautiful films. Even though first and second will never be as good as the first. I haven't seen the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. People dig it. People seem to dig it. It's cool that Pat Morita, who plays Mr. Miyagi's in it as well. But I think it's such a brilliant show. It's so good. And they just keep upping the ante. But thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Okay. Why is it not showing full names? Let me see if I can pull this out. Oh, there we go. The misogynistic pig. This guy's going places in the future. I hope so, man. Thank you so much. Charlie Paulito. Hey, Chris, any tips on getting into shape? So honestly, man, the first things first is mindset. You've got to want to do it, but also it has to be, I wouldn't say a way of life, but you kind of got to make it a routine, a lifestyle, and you got to want to enjoy it. So I've learned how to do the whole flexible dieting thing. I really love that. It just makes things easier. You don't get cravings and stuff like that. And fitting things into your macronutrients for the day. Obviously, we all have different macros and stuff like that, depending on our goals, our body types, stuff like that. And, you know, we're all genetically different. Some of us can put on muscle like that. I myself really struggle to put on muscle. You know, genetically, I have a flat ass, so I've really got to work to build my butt and everything. And I have genetically very like lean, small forearms like my dad. So I've really got to hit those hammer curls. So I think obviously diet, first of all, like, and people will always say that, but it's true. Diet is just number one. Sleep. Holy shit, sleep is just so important. But have a training routine where you're having fun with it and it's changing because you want to keep your body guessing. That will give you the best results. Make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're eating the right stuff because your nervous system is copping a thrashing from training. You need to replenish it. You need to replenish your body, your brain, and that's where the sleep comes in as well. Take a good multivitamin. I take krill oil as well. Like you can take fish oil and stuff like that. I take krill oil for my joints, but also my heart health, stuff like that. And it's also good for brain function. So I take a multivitamin, krill oil, magnesium for the joints as well. I'm finding, you know, in my 30s, joints are getting a little bit stiffer and need some old WD-40 in them. And like a liver support as well. And you can also get just stuff that cleanses you. A turmeric, I take like a turmeric liquid as well. It's a natural anti-inflammatory as well. So that's good for when you're training heavy. certain parts might get inflamed and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it, man. And obviously just have fun with it. Don't ever make it a chore. Some days are harder than others, especially, you might have not had a great night's sleep and then you got to drag your ass to the gym. So just have fun with it, man. Tyrannus Graves, have you considered doing a custom collectible of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Gore the God Butcher figure? I have. I've seen a few good repaints. There's a few good repaints going around on Instagram. I follow a few people that repaint the Marvel Legends, the McFarlane toy ones that I do a lot of as well. And they're big inspirations. I'll see, like for the Dr. Fate one that I did last year, I think it was, I did see someone repaint the Dr. Fate McFarlane toy. And I'm like, I got to get that. That looks great. Repainted. The detail's beautiful. I've definitely considered doing it. I've also considered doing the Armored Thor one, but I want to swap out the helmet head for the regular head. So you get the Ravager Thor figure and swap the heads because that helmet just looks weird and it looked weird in the film. I don't know why they went CGI with it. I don't know if you guys agree, but the CGI helmet looked really, Jane just looked really weird. And they made a practical helmet too. So I don't know if it just didn't read well on film and they replaced it digitally. But I don't know, like practical's always better. So yes, I have considered it. Will I? Possibly. I've definitely got to be in the mood because that way, you're going to do a good job. But they're up at my local Westfield. They've got a shit ton of them at JB Hi-Fi. They've got the whole Love and Thunder range. So I have been eyeing off Armored Thor and Gore. Gore would be, no, I wouldn't say it's tricky, but also you're dealing with a lot of shading and stuff like that. Whereas with Armored Thor, that's my jam. Armor, hard edge stuff. Where it comes to organic stuff, which, it's no real excuse. It just means you just got to practice more on it. It's just a bit more trickier and getting that natural look, especially with that beautiful makeup that Odd did on Christian Bale. I definitely want to do that justice. So yeah, possibly in the pipeline. Let me just cruise on down here. $2 from Arcade. No question or anything, but dude, if you want to ask a question, ask away. Thank you very much. Linford, morning, Chris. Good morning. It is 9:47 a.m. Sunday morning here. And Saturday afternoon, most parts of the States. I got to do my geography. Toby Nobel, hey, how's the Lightyear cosplay? It is currently in 3D files on this laptop. I really should have said to myself from the get-go, because originally I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this before the premiere. I think I would have had a nervous breakdown if I had attempted to finish it before the premiere of Lightyear. Every time I go to start it, a commission comes up, something comes up, a project comes up, a campaign comes out. I think I need to file Lightyear in the Samurai Spawn department where work on it when I can. I want to do it. I'm going to see it through. I'm not going to just leave it by the wayside and say, nah, I couldn't be bothered. I want to do it because Buzz has been a big part of my childhood. It's a big undertaking. It's a big build and I want to do it right. Which includes a new 3D scan of me that Miles and I did a few months ago to really get the armor right. I kind of want the armor to be a lot more streamlined on me, hug the body a bit more, but obviously not too tight, but I don't want to be, lumbering around like the Tin Man, if that makes sense. So it's happening, dude. I'm not going to say when, but it is going to happen. I am going to see it through. Don't you worry about that. Okay. Tanner LeBlanc. Hope I got that right. Hey, Chris, I've been working on / completing a Darth Vader cosplay. It's been a long journey, but I'm closing in on finish it. That's awesome, man. I have nothing but respect for you Vader cosplayers because it's a massive undertaking, like you just said. It blows my mind. But I think that's with a lot of cosplays. Unless you know it back to front, you look at it and you get intimidated. You're like, whoa. And with Vader, you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, that's not you get the helmet, the chest box, the cape. No, you have to make sure if you're doing the Return of the Jedi, Empire, New Hope, Rogue One, even though Rogue One, they tried to match it as close as they could do in New Hope in terms of the tinted red lenses and stuff like that. Like I learned a lot from a lot of people who cosplay as Vader. I know nothing. I thought I did, but I know nothing about Vader when it comes to cosplay. So that's awesome, man. And it's a big investment too. So my hat is off to you with that, man. I hope it all works out well. Good stuff. RK, what's it like growing upside down? Dude, it's amazing. We ride kangaroos to work. Koalas are in our backyard. It's great. It's so great. I'll step outside right now. There'll be a saltwater crocodile out there. It's good stuff, man. I should flip the video right now so I'm upside down. We started the upside down before Stranger Things did. uh, Callum Murphy, you show how to do great blood splatter on my knife for my cosplay. Thanks, man. The anodized spray paint, which is for cars, is incredible. I stumbled upon that by accident. It was sitting in my workshop, and I had to do an exploding head gag for The Boys season 3 premiere here in Sydney. They gave me a mannequin. They're like, "Can you make it look like the head's exploded from the head exploder?" And they had all the clothing and all that dress, so I dressed it. And I was frantically running around the workshop back at mum and dad's. I'm like, shit, I don't have the proper spray paints for blood. And I saw the anodized red. I'm like, So I mixed it with the regular Duramax Red Box Red and then started spraying it on. I'm like, this reads like fresh blood. That's incredible. And yeah, I've been using it on the Michael Myers hands, and it just looks like all shiny and gnarly. And it's not that expensive either, and it goes a long way. And the good thing is, like, I'm pretty sure you can get it in the States and whatnot. I think it is another company that does it, or it could be Duplicolor. I think it is. It's just down the road at our local Repco, super cheap auto, but it works. It just works a treat. Like, and it's so good. So thank you, man. Yeah, I'm still hoping for the Outlaw Johnny Black to come out soon. I'm thinking it's the distribution thing, because it's done. The producer or the production assistant on the film messaged me. This was a few months ago. She said, I saw a screening of the film, saw you in it. You were great. You and Michael shared some shots together, because I played the bartender, the barkeep, and he comes up to me and says lines to me. It's incredible. So the film's done. And on IMDb, there's no release date. So I'm guessing it's a distribution thing or funding, like the last bit of funding to get it out there. So it would be cool if it had a wide release, but I think it'll be in the same vein as Black Dynamite, which is fine, because Black Dynamite's such a good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's great. It's such good filmmaking because they did it old school. It's very, very good. Okay. JA Films, what is your most favorite cosplay you've ever worn? Like, for comfiness, Nathan Drake, man, 100%. Anything that involves civilian clothes, and I have a feeling good old Eddie's going to be very comfy as well, because it's just, there's no like restrictive armor. You're not overheating that much. Like, if I was to wear this out in the summer sun, the leather jacket, and you got the trucker's jacket, yeah, you're going to sweat, but it's not as bad as being in a foam muscle suit. So definitely, Captain Boomerang for sure, but you got to wear that in the thick of winter because of that big fluffy jacket. Captain Boomerang, Nathan Drake, Eddie's probably going to be one. Whiplash sort of was, because like, you're not wearing a shirt or anything, but it did get like very labor intensive towards the end of the day with the exoskeleton on, especially on the shoulders, because it's like you can do that for a minute and it's fine, but if you do that for 8 hours, it hurts and you're bruised. All right, let me just cruise on down here. Cosplaying History Note sends in $7.99. Thank you so much and welcome. Hey, Chris, will you be attending Oz Comic Con? If so, can you reveal what are you cosplaying, or will you do a reveal on Insta? This guy. So yes, I am attending, man. It's not this weekend, not next week, and the following weekend. Saturday, I'm hoping to do Samurai Spawn. I'm waiting on the lenses to arrive for that. Other than that, he's pretty much done. So I did another test fitting the other day. Happy with everything. Happy with the sword. The cool thing is a lot of this stuff, like this skull you see on the butt here, I got from Spotlight. A lot of the stuff I got from the Halloween section of Spotlight because, Spawn, skulls, and there's a lot of skulls out there at the moment with Halloween decorations. So just waiting on some lenses, man. I got those LED acrylic lenses off AliExpress, but they're flexible. So that's just going to make it a lot easier for mounting them in there. Other than that, I just have to weather the hood and the cape, and it's done. So Samurai Spawn Saturday, and possibly Halloween Kills Michael Myers Sunday. Speaking of, let me just bring him over here. There you go. So yes, I will be sporting Simon Brandolino's gorgeous Kills mask. Now that the coveralls are done, distress my hands. I got the knife as well, the boots as well. So yeah, that's the plan, man. Are you going? Because are you based in Sydney? That's cool if you are. And thank you very much for that generous donation. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. So finally, yes, after 2 and a bit years, he's going to be done and rolled out. I hope it's a cooler day. I hope it's not too hot, because as soon as you're bolted into that thing, it sucks. It sucks so bad, but it's fun. Like you definitely have to have fun with it. Darkland Production sends in $15. Thank you so much. Holy shit. Thank you. Love your channel, my guy. How long did it take to build your first cosplay costume? Thank you so much again. So first proper one off the rank was that hybrid Batman cosplay from 2014. So I had the Batman Begins cowl from, was it Tundra Designs or Gauntlet Effects? I think it was Gauntlet Effects. So the Batman Begins cowl, the bodysuit was done by Bruce, not Bruce Campbell. Oh God, good friend of mine, Bruce, and I forget his surname. He's based in Scotland. So he did the sub-dye suit, and I wanted it reminiscent of Batman Earth One. I love that look, all the lines and all that. The chest emblem was a Clooney chest emblem, but with the yellow instead of the ice blue. It was black and yellow. And the belt was a tactical belt. Motorcycle. No, I had replica Panther gloves with motorcycle armor. So that took a good 4 months. A lot of that was waiting for stuff to arrive. The cape was like a velvet that I got from Spotlight or Lincraft, I think, before Lincraft went bust. So Lincraft is essentially, for people in the States, is like our Joanne's fabric, but they've kind of gone belly up. There's not many left around Australia. It's more Spotlight now. So yeah, that took about a good 4 months, man. And that was my first big like cosplay build. So I was really happy with how that turned out. I do miss that one. Mind you, the boots I wore were like proper motocross boots. So I was like trundling around because there's no movement. Like your ankles are essentially locked in because those boots are designed to stop your ankles from being turned to dust if you're in a crash. But now that I've discovered the former adventure boots that I've used with Cap and used with the Phantom, you can run in them, which is really cool. So yeah, a good 4 months, man. After that, what was my next one after that? My God, we're going back to 2014. I'm sure someone in the chat will remember. Oh man, I forget what my next big one was after that. I have to go back through the archives. But yeah, that was the first big one, man. And that was my first proper bat suit, my first time wearing it to a convention. Before that, I did a Nolan-inspired Robin, but that was just, a quick trip to eBay, getting all this motorcycle armor. But the bat suit was like custom stuff with the bodysuit, the emblem, the belt. Made my own buckle, molded, cast my own buckle that was reminiscent of the Arkham Origins buckle. So that was the big one, man. Thank you so much for that. That's very sweet of you. I really do appreciate that. Let me just cruise on down here. Ray Fast sends in $10. Thank you so much. 10 more because of conversations. Also, any tips on getting better with an airbrush? Oh, man, can you tell me? So airbrushing is like drawing, sculpting, training. If you don't use it, you lose it. Back in year 12, I had my airbrush kit. I had the Pask, I don't know how to pronounce it, airbrush kit. They're so good. I need to get another one. They last ages. As long as you look after it, they'll look after you. And, you could dial it in and do fine stuff like for airbrushing, like a Freddy bust, the burns. I think practice, man. Like, get yourself a piece of paper, and before you airbrush your piece, get your piece of paper and be like, okay, that's good. Now we can do it. So Simon, who repaints these, uses an airbrush on these. So I think just practice, man. At the moment, I basically use airbrushes, and I get cheap ones too. If I'm like spraying something like this, I'll dial it out on full and just mist like an ink on there and stuff like that. But if you want to do finer work, you have to invest in a really good airbrush kit, which can be like $200 to $300, but they're so good. And that way you can dial it down as little as possible to do fine work. But with the cheap airbrushes, they're essentially just for doing big sprays, man. So I need to practice a lot more too, but I also need to invest in a good airbrush. So at the moment, funny enough, they're right here. These ones are from Bunnings Warehouse. So we've got the one where it's at the bottom, and then we've got a gravity-fed airbrush. A lot of artists will recommend the gravity-fed airbrushes. I need to go through and clean these out. This is why I've got them out of storage, because I need to clean them out because they're not spraying proper at the moment. They're spitting, actually. So I think also cleaning your kit constantly is a big thing. So thank you so much, Ray, but that's so awesome of you. So yeah, I do need to invest in a proper airbrush. Down at my local art store here, like literally 2 minutes down the road, they've got the new Pashk, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, kit in there, and it's $270. But it's a beautiful airbrush kit. So I got my compressor. My compressor is just there. So I just need to get myself a proper good one to do finer work, especially with this Freddy's Dead bust, the new Freddy bust that I'm doing. So Saturday morning, I finished doing the other side of the fiberglass mold. Tomorrow, I'm going to crack it all open, take the silicone mold off, and hopefully have a casting this week. So I've been filming the process of that, and I'm going to do a video on painting that as well. So I would like to airbrush that, because you look at the Freddy's Dead makeup, those burns are a lot different to say like part 1. So I hand paint the part 1 bus. I probably have to airbrush the part 6, just the nature of the burns and how the colors look and stuff like that. So thanks again, Ray. I appreciate that, my friend. Let me just cruise on down here. Ray Fart, another $2 from Ray Fart. Thank you, man. Chris, you missed my first chat, mate. Okay, hopefully, was that the, am I up to date? Was that, let me just cruise back up. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. It's okay. Okay, $10 from Ray Far. Darkland Productions. Let me just cruise on up. Cosplaying History Nerd. Ray. Oh, okay. Got you, man. Yep. Ray Far. Chris, I've been a huge fan of your channel for so long, and I absolutely love your skills and seeing customs and seeing people geek out. Much love to you, brother. Well, much love to you, man. And yeah, thank you so much, man. That's very, very cool of you. Yeah, it's been over 8 years. Crazy. 2014 when I started the channel. It's ridiculous. But yeah, thanks again, man. Hopefully I am up to date. Can you let me know if you just, but anyway, hopefully I'm up to date. I think I am. Justin Millard, can't wait for Halloween ends. I can't wait either, especially after the new TV spot. It looks so good. I love that they gave nothing away, but also showed, not a lot, but showed some really powerful shots at the same time. That shot of Michael pinning someone up against the wall looked awesome. Very reminiscent of what happened to Bob in the 1978 film. I'm just going to have so much fun with it. I'm going to try and not get my hopes up with it, but just go into it and just have fun with it. Certified Scott, time for some shitty commentary. It's always time for some shitty commentary, mate. Reaper Kicker, definitely love your creativity, Chris. Well, thank you so much, man. I'd never want to stop being creative. That's just what makes me happy, and that's what, you know, makes my brain happy. Horror Clown 31, are there any tips on shadowing? Depends what you're shadowing, man. If you're shadowing something like this, you know, you can definitely do it with like an artist oil, even charcoal, like lightly with charcoal, and you can seal it up with a clear plasti dip, and then that'll lock in the charcoal or the oil color. So it depends what you're doing, man. If you're doing that by hand, yeah, like artist oils, charcoal. If you're airbrushing, obviously get yourself, like I just said before, a good kit where you can dial it down and do fine shading work and stuff like that. So it totally depends, man. Okay. Charlie Polito, hey, Chris, would you do a Ted called Blue Beetle cosplay in the style of your Phantom? So do you mean like using the same style bodysuit? Because yeah, that could translate well for Blue Beetle as like a base suit. 100%. Absolutely. That could definitely work well. But I would love to have a crack at the Blue Beetle suit from the upcoming film. I think that looks so good. And that's how, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that's how you transfer a comic book costume to the big screen. It looks so good. The helmet looks great. I'd love just to have the helmet on display. That looks like a fun helmet to make when the lights are all done and all the paint work's done. So look, it would be good. So the base suit for the Phantom is actually the Batman Noel suit, bodysuit from white sheep leather. And I looked at it, I'm like, that would look good purple. I love all the piping, and that's what I'm going for with the Phantom, like armor plating and stuff like that. So it would work well for a base suit, absolutely, in that nice blue. And then you add all the fixtures and like the urethane or 3D printed armor parts, and of course the helmet. So it's doable. It's a good idea. Roman Games, do you still do the bat belts? Not at the moment. I've retired my old Batfleck belt. I do have 3D prints in the workshop of an updated belt, which is a lot more accurate. I just have to make the molds. Funny enough, I actually got a cease and desist from Warner Brothers on my Etsy store for those belts. The funny thing was, it wasn't for the completed belts, it was for the kits, because I offered the completed belts, or you could buy the kits, the urethane parts, and put it all together. Some people prefer that, and it's cheaper. And I got a cease and desist from Warner Bros. For that. I also got a cease and desist for the Justice League Batfleck busts that I was making. And essentially, with a cease and desist, you just have to do nothing. You just kind of got to leave it. Don't fight it because holy shit, you're not going to fight Warner Brothers. So it's just a matter of making the molds, man. Again, time. It's like there aren't like I know this is like such a stereotypical thing to say. There's not enough hours in the day. I wish there were. Mind you, I'm one of those people that tries to try and wrap everything up in the afternoon because I do like my downtime. I think downtime is very important. The Epic War Boy sends in £9.99. Thank you very much. Hey, Chris, been watching you for years since your first life-size Freddy. Yeah, man, that was 2015. Finally doing my first cosplay as a weathered Red Hood. Would you have any tips or recommendations? First off, yes, sir. I don't think I think Red Hood gets enough love, but I want to see Red Hood on the big screen, like properly done. Can you imagine Red Hood in the Batfleck universe? That would be brilliant. So doing a weathered Red Hood, like similar to mine, man, have fun with it. If you want to incorporate parts from the comics, the shows, then also take stuff from like the DCEU universe, like I did. That's why the gray textured fabric. Make it your own, dude. Have it tell a story. And I repeat myself a lot when I say that, but it's important when you're weathering a costume. Some costumes, typically don't have weathering, but they still tell a story. You could have like a dent or something like that on the helmet, and you can be like, hey, that was from X, Y, and Z from the Rogues Gallery that happened. Have your own little stamp on it, man. I think when you do that, you can have so much fun with it, and you use your imagination to its fullest. And it's hard to explain. It's kind of euphoric when you do that because you'll be working on something. You may be working on the Red Hood helmet, the bodysuit, the leather jacket, the drop holsters, and you're like, oh, what if I did that with that? And then you get real giddy and you get excited about it. So again, have fun with it, dude, and make it your own. Leave your stamp on the Red Hood character. That should be your goal. And just when you look in the mirror, be like, fucking A, yes, I'm Red Hood. So that's awesome, man. All the best with that. I hope you have an absolute ball with that. Sounds fun because I had a lot of fun with my Red Hood. I did have a good time putting that one together. That was a lot of fun. But thank you so much for that donation. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Okay, let me just cruise on down here. $5 from Ray Fire again. Thank you so much. Do you have much experience with expanding/shrinking molds? I love customizing figures, but sometimes I want to use hot toy sculpts for smaller figs. I don't, man. I did something similar back in the day when I was sculpting with clay and doing the old school plaster molds with slip latex castings. You pour your latex in and let it dwell, and then pour it back out, and you've got your latex mask pretty much like this. But I did back in the day shrink masters, latex masters and stuff like that, but not when it comes to stuff like that. It might be one of those things where you might, because it gets a bit iffy with like not recasting, but you could get the head sculpt and scan it, 3D scan it. You've got your file, clean it up, and then shrink it down and resin print it. It totally depends, man. It totally depends what you want to do. There are a few options. But I think for something like that, you might have to go digital, because when it comes to shrinking stuff like that, I wouldn't know how to do it. Like physically, I wouldn't know how to do it digitally, scan it and just scale the file down, or just get your measurements and be like, hey, the circumference of the brow is this, but I want it down to this or up to this. So you can definitely do it digitally, man. I think it's a cleaner and smoother process to do it digitally. And if you're only resin printing or 3D printing something like that, you do it in resin anyway to get that nice HD clean print. So hopefully that answers your question, man. But in terms of me, no, it was more or less with these things like latex castings, just like you'd have your master, you'd foam fill it, and you could let it dwell with latex for a bit. And depending how much you let the latex dwell for depends on how big or how much it would shrink. So I totally forget that now. Like that was a long time ago with the old school monster masks, but they still serve a purpose. Clearly. There's my dog barking in the background. Let me just cruise on here. You guys are amazing. This is brilliant. Okay. Right. I'm going to cruise back up and just answer some questions. Okay. Max Kappas. Hey, Chris, I'm doing a H40 Michael Myers for cosplay and conventions, but do you have any tips on weathering my Legion Safety version 2 coveralls? Just FYI, they'll be here by the 15th. Cruise on over to my channel, man. I put the video up last week of the tutorial of the Legion Safety coveralls, weathering them. Hopefully that helps out. Someone in the comment section of the video was very anal about the holes the bullet hits, the stab wounds and all that, and he's like, you're supposed to have a knife mark on the back where Karen stabbed him, and I was just like, well, maybe I'm going to the look where before Karen stabbed him. So it's funny, people get very anal about, you've got to have this, got to have that. I'm like, just make it your own, man, have fun with it. So but I get where they were coming from, purists and stuff like that, details, man, detail orientated. I like that. So yeah, if you go onto my channel, man, I put the video up last week and that was a lot of fun to do. I was really happy with how they came out. Make sure you give them a couple of washes in the washing machine and tumble dry them, leave them in the sun. You can also put a little bit of white vinegar or baking soda in the mixture where you put your washing liquid and stuff like that, and that'll just fade them a little bit more. Don't use bleach because it'll just ruin the whole thing. But you need to wash it. Give it a couple of washes, man, and that way you're going to break down the barrier that's like the protective barrier that's on the fabric. And also faded in the process. You don't want these looking too clean. You want them a bit faded with a couple of washes and just leaving them in the sun for a couple of days, flipping them like a burger patty now and then. And I think, oops, sorry, Mikey, that's the best way to go about it. But yeah, man, check out the video. Hopefully it's informative. I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, thank you. Ball welder. If you were to do a Deathstroke cosplay, what would it look like? Manganello's, man. 100% like Manganello's Deathstroke costume from the end of Justice League. It looks so good. I even like the Nightmare one. It's the same base armor, but they've kind of like put camo on it and dirtied it up. But I think he looks so good at the end of Justice League. That's what I'd do anyway. Okay. Let me just go back up here. Certified Scott. Mikey's head on a pike. You're a badass. This is how Halloween ends is going to end, guys. Spoiler alert. All right, let me go back down. Oop. So far, so good with this stream cam, guys. It's amazing what happens when you use a direct connection with a LAN cable as opposed to relying on Wi-Fi. Okay, another $5 from Ray Far. Dude, you're amazing. Thank you. I'm personally a figure customizer and not a cosplayer, but in my life, I want to have full-scale suits for Raimi Spider-Man and Green Goblin. Dude, I would love to have a good replica of Maguire's Spider-Man suit. If you're on Instagram, hit up Elfett, EL_FETT, I think. He does the best Maguire Spider-Man suits. And the muscle suits he uses, he bought the molds from Studio ADI of Toby's actual muscle molds, like for the muscle suit. He also has Topher Grace's Venom muscles. So if you were to get one, and you can just display it on a mannequin like that. Pardon me, very gassy again. Every time I do a bloody live stream, I talk a lot and I get gassy. Yeah, like you get sort of screen lineage with those muscles because they're essentially from the same molds Studio ADI used to generate the muscles for Tobey Maguire's muscle suit. And his textured fabric's beautiful. His raised webbing's beautiful. The lenses, they're a big investment. But holy hell, if I had the cash, like I'd get one just on a mannequin. I don't think I have the build for Spidey. Plus also I have like a bit of a spare tire going on and I have to like wear a man girdle. It wouldn't be very flattering. So I'd have one for display. I know he also does like really good busts. If you don't want something full on, you can just have like a bust here. And he does also do Green Goblin, the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, man. And he's painted them the same way they painted the helmets for the film with that iridescent, pearlescent kind of look. So I'd hit him up, man, if you're on Instagram, Elfett, if you're in the market for one. But yeah, thanks again, man. Okay, let me cruise on down here. $2 from Ben Affleck's double chin. Well, thank you, Ben Affleck's double chin. It's a cracker of a chin. If Ben in better shape in Justice League would have looked better. Yeah, 100%, man. I do know when he was filming the first Justice League, he was going through a few problems with his drinking, his marriage, and stuff like that. And I agree. He, especially in that Justice League cowl, and I don't, I, you know, you never want to speak ill of someone's physical appearance, but it just how he looked, bit like a chubby cherub. But keep in mind, those cowls were cast in urethane as opposed to BBS where they're cast in foam latex. And foam is a lot more forgiving on the face when it hugs it as opposed to urethane, where, you know, this is urethane and it can be very rigid depending on the urethane you use. But he did look a bit like a chubby cherub. But I feel in Zack Snyder's Justice League, you know, the more footage that came out, not Nightmare, the Nightmare section, I felt he looked a lot better. I think with the reshoots with Justice League, that's when he was a bit bigger. But obviously with the Nightmare reshoots, or the additional photography, I should say, Ben had slimmed down. He was sober and he looked great, even though that cowl was deteriorating. I know for a fact they went in, Weta Digital went in and digitally cleaned up the cowl because it was rotting at the back. And apparently Ben, well, not Ben per se, but the cowl broke when he was slipping it on and off at one point because it was just so fragile. Because the thing was several years old. Like they first cast those cowls back in 2013. And, you know, depending on the way Warner Brothers stores them and stuff like that, they do keep them in, you know, climate controlled, light controlled archives on the lot at Burbank. But you can only preserve latex and foam latex so much. Like you can try your best, but overall it will eventually harden and stuff like that. But thanks for the donation, man. I really do appreciate that. But yes, look, I do hope he comes back, even though he's got his cameo on Aquaman. There are murmurs that after the Flash, Affleck and Cavill are back for good and they're resetting the timeline. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Ray Farr, dude, you're on fire. Thank you so much. Also, I'm currently looking into 3D resin printers and I'm trying to get one in the $250 to $300 range. Any recommendations, brands, or ones to stay clear from? So Elegoo, man, I did an unboxing and a demo of one a few months ago with a Pattinson cowl, and Elegoo have ones from, you know, a couple of $100 right to a few thousand, like big industrial ones. But yeah, Elegoo, they're user friendly, and like I'm not tech savvy, clearly, with this live stream and trying to set everything up. But they're very user friendly, man. You know, just a bit of setting up to do. Just it's more or less like leveling the print bed, and then you're good to go. Get your 3D file on your USB, plug it in, hit print, leave it, good to go. And they're beautiful prints too. Like they do really good quality prints. Like you do have to dial in a few settings, and I had to learn how to use Chitubox, which is how you prep your 3D files with the supports and all that eventually break off when the print is done. So I'd definitely say Elegoo, man. And like for the price, they're really good. And you know, you got your Saturns, your Jupiters. I forget what their big industrial ones are called, but yeah, they've got a printer for everyone, depending on your price range, man. So if you head on over to their website on Elegoo, check it out. But yeah, they're really good. And Chitubox is the pro. I use Chitubox Basic. Chitubox like full version, it looks like a fucking cockpit. There's just buttons everywhere, and I'm like, no. I just need basic. I just need to prep the file, put the supports, and it automatically generates supports where it feels like it needs it, and then you can add more. And it's just literally the click of a mouse. You hover the mouse over the file, and it'll show up green, like the pole will show up green. You're like, yep, put it there. Add a few more structures to it, and it's easy. Export it as a printable file. Put it on your USB. Pop it in the printer, man. So yeah, it's addictive too, because you're like, oh, I could print this, I could print that. Especially if you're doing figures, you can just easily resin print stuff, man. It won't take long, and they'll look a treat, especially if you print in HD. I'm not responsible for your 3D printing addiction if it all turns out. Okay, let me just cruise on down here, make sure we're all up to date. Okay, we're up to date so far. Alpha Ghoul, sup, man. Roman Games still have them GCPD badges for you, man, if you still want them. Oh, dude, I remember that we spoke about that ages ago. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you. Let me just go back up here. Okay, so Luke, the email was basically how many wears can you realistically get out of a costume before it starts to go to shit? Maybe it would make for a cool video where you show old costumes of yours. That's a really good idea, man. I'm sorry I did not get to that email. I could have been in spam. But that's a really good idea. So it's funny you mentioned that. It's like a lot of people have asked, with cosplay, you got to realize we have to be so neurotic about it because we make one costume that has to last conventions, photo shoots, wear and tear, physical, not abuse, but you put it through the ringer sometimes. If it's just a civilian clothing costume, like, Eddie Munson or stuff like that, it's going to last a longer. But when you've got foam, armor, muscles, glue, urethane, things tear. And we make one costume as opposed to movie studios that make 20 costumes, like 20 bat suits. And those things tear the drop of a hat. Case in point, like recently, Prey, the new Predator movie, there's behind the scenes photos of them gluing certain parts together of the head, like it's tearing in certain places because it's foam latex, it's brittle. And those suits back in the Schumacher days, like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, as soon as like Val, George, Chris, Alicia would put their arms up, it would tear down here, and they're constantly repairing them. Doug Stewart, who weathered up the Batfleck costumes and the Nightmare Batman costumes for the films, was constantly repairing the muscles, the understructure, and stuff like that. So you make a really good point, man, and that could make a really fun video. You have to take into account that this thing or whatever is going to cop a battering on the day of a con, and that's why it's always good to have like a little kit. You incorporate these pouches into it, but really you've got like a repair kit in there. You have like cheap and nasty super glue and stuff like that. So you really have to put thought into how long this is going to last and make it last. And there's always going to be repairs, man. Like that's why you do constant fittings. Like with this one, I've been doing fittings. It's a bitch to get into, especially when you're on your own and no one's home. So I've had to put, actually the bodysuit's not on it. The bodysuit, I have wire, like a wetsuit wire, not a wire per se, but you can zip it up yourself until the actual day of the con, where I'll take that off because someone can zip me up, or Chloe can zip me up for that matter. So yeah, you have to do constant fittings. It's like when a new plane is made and rolled off the rank, the engineers take it up and put it through the ringer and put it in a nosedive, stall it deliberately to correct the stall to make sure the plane works, and nut out what needs fixing, what needs to be done, what its limitations are. Vice versa with a cosplay. Know its limitations, but you have to do tests, man. So again, I'm sorry I missed your email, but you make a really good point. We make one costume. Like if you've got a big ass budget, you can make multiple cosplays, but oh my God, that's a lot of time and effort and work. As opposed to a movie studio or an effects company, a costuming company, a costume designer and their crew that have millions of dollars for the budget, and they can make 20 costumes and afford to have some of them break, tear, rip, whatever. So good question, man. I dig that. And it's funny. That one has always been on my mind for a while because I'm like, man, cosplayers, we're trying to make one that's got to last a long time as opposed to a movie studio. So I like to think we're honing our skills in big time. All right. Let me cruise on down here. Ray Farr. Oh man, dude, thank you so much. I'm going to eat now, but just wanted to say thank you for all the amazing videos you put out. The passion is clear in all of your videos, and you seem like a cracker of a bloke. Cheers, man. Peace and love. Well, Ray, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for the support today and just the support from whenever you started watching. Yeah, man, enjoy your meal. Hope you're having a fucking awesome weekend. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Take care, man. Jacob Ware, what kind of paint can I use on a foam knife? If it's like foam, man, you can use like acrylic paint and seal it up with Plasti Dip, because the Plasti Dip will suck into the foam and it'll flex with the foam. So just acrylics if you want. I wouldn't use spray paint because the enamel can make it crack. Matt Demel, hey Chris, how do you stay so positive when dealing with failure? Because you have to realize that in order to move forward, sometimes you have to fail. So, the whole one step forward, two steps back. When I'm working on things, I fail a lot. There's a lot of unused footage that I will never see the light of day because it didn't work. But I also try to incorporate failures sometimes into custom collectibles per se. Excuse me. But I think if you're in the mindset of failure is a part of life, like that's how we learn, then it's fine. Like granted, there are days where something will fuck up or something won't work, and I really crack the shit. So I'm like, no, because also I'm like, I'm wasting time, blah, blah, blah. But then when it's all said and done, I'll look back and be like, hey, I learned something from that. So as long as like you're in the mindset that you're learning something from it, man, and like it's just a part of life. Like we all fail. some way, shape, or form. It's just life, man. It's just one of those things. I don't want to sound like an old codger, but it's just life, mate. Things fail. We fail now and then. It happens. Shit happens. But yeah, part of life, man. Some dude named Joe. Thoughts on Jamie Foxx Spawn movie? Dude, I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Like at one point last year, Todd McFarlane was having a meeting with Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx like, "Yep, we're doing it." Jeremy Renner was playing Sam or Twitch, one of the detectives, and apparently Spawn was going to have next to no dialogue, but it was a very detective-driven movie about Sam and Twitch. I don't know. Like Jamie Foxx as Al Simmons, yes, I want to see that. That'd be great. And Todd McFarlane wants to make it a hard R. I think there may be an issue with funding. That's the last I heard. That's why it's kind of gone quiet at the moment. So yeah. Paddy Lavery, right? It's 1:30 a.m. in Ireland. Got to go to bed. Good night, folks. Good night, man. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good sleep. Sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. Felipe Munzos, greetings from Chile. Hello, my friend. Inside the booth. Did my super chat not go through? I don't know how this works. Oh, dude, let me check. Let me just cruise on up here, man. I got Ray. Ray's off having a lovely meal. I can't see, dude. Not that I can see, unless I've missed it. Ray again. Ben Affleck's double chin, Ray. No, I think I don't think it's gone through, man. I don't know. Hopefully, you can troubleshoot it. Okay. Faceless McGee. Hello again, friend. How you doing? Samurai Spawn looks absolutely crazy, especially with the glowing eyes. Thanks so much, man. Doing well. Flat chat this week. I'm casting up a Freddy bust for someone on Etsy. Casting up a Michael Myers hand. I've got to do another one. And today I'm heading out to a park about an hour from here to do some photos and videos for a campaign for DC Super Pets that actually is going to be incorporating my dog, Angus. That's going to be a bit of fun. So yeah, man, busy. This one's pretty much done. Just got to wait on the lenses for this particular helmet. Obviously, the one with the shroud over it's got the lenses in it. And apart from that, weathering the cape and the hood, and it's pretty much done, man. Rolling it off the rank for Oz Comic Con Sydney in 2 weeks' time. I'm a bit nervous about it. I get nervous with new cosplays, especially ones like this full on, because once you're in it, and it gets hot, and I just hope it's a cool day. But thanks, man. I'm happy it's finally being done after 2 and a bit years. Better late than never. Evil Alex, stream buffering. Ooh, I hope everything is okay now, man. Again, I'm using the stream cam now, and hopefully it's working out okay. Any plans to overhaul a Trick or Treat Officer Francis Severed Head? Yes, absolutely. Every time I see one, I think I need to buy one and do it. I've seen people do it and that have hand punched the hair in. I don't know if I'd go that far. I'd probably do the layers and glue it all down. But yes, absolutely. I love that prop. The original one is so disgusting. And it's so cool that Chris Nelson was in the film and he got to, do his bit and be Officer Francis and then also get killed by Michael. It's quite ironic that he made the mask from the film, but he also became a victim. It just looks like he had so much fun with it. And it was all improv. Him and the other, the guy isn't even an actor. The other cop, he's an actual cop. I think he was the weapons consultant on the film. And they're like, do you want to be in the movie? And he's like, yeah, cool. So it's really cool. Noob Master 69, Moon Knight. I watched Moon Knight. Wasn't too bad. Would I do a cosplay? Probably not. There are a lot of other amazing Moon Knight cosplayers out there, like Mars Mateo. Oh, amazing. Mars Mateo's, he's my Nightwing. Formal Clown. Hey, Chris, would you ever be able to make a Killer Clowns from Outer Space costume mask or even a cotton candy prop gun? I'd love to have a crack at the cotton candy prop gun, man. That'd be fun to do. If you guys haven't, check out that movie. It's so silly, but so good. I don't know about you, but I think those masks and the design of them still hold up. Like they're so detailed. And apparently a lot of the budget went into creating the clowns themselves, which shows because the rest of the movie is just silliness. But the clowns themselves, they look great, like absolutely great. All right. Mason Kivler. Hey, Chris, would you do a Harry Warden from My Bloody Valentine? I'd have to see the film first, man. I've not seen My Bloody Valentine. I know that came out ages ago. It's the one where he's got the pick and the gas mask and the lamp kind of thing, the whole mining outfit going on. I'd have to see it first, man. When I do cosplays, like I have to kind of resonate with the character or just really be invested in it. Not to say that I resonate with the serial killer, but I just like the aesthetic as well. So yeah, definitely that. Mark Gel G, pull a pot. Chris, how about the Bucky's Captain America costume? Is it okay and good, the armored look, or Steve's costume, by the way? G'day, mate. And did you eat your brekkie or not? Didn't hear it. So Chloe actually made protein pancakes this morning, about half an hour before I went on stream. So I had some good protein pancakes this morning. I got my coffee, and yeah, I'll probably be heading off in about an hour to this DC Super Pets photo shoot, which will be a bit of fun. So that's for a campaign that's going to be up this week, I think. So tomorrow, everything needs to be submitted. They want like an Instagram post and some stories, but it's cool. It's fun to be a part of it. And the fact that Warner Brothers asked you to do this stuff and incorporate your dog, it's a lot of fun. Mason Kilver, there's 1981 and 3D. Okay, yeah, that's right. It is a remake. My Bloody Valentine 3D. That is right. Let me just cruise on back up here. A Lux Media. Quick question. Which cosplay has taken you the longest to build? Longest to build? Oh, dude, probably Samurai Spawn, but that's because I'd kept putting it off. If we're talking like just how like long with months, years, Samurai Spawn, but labor-wise, probably Geralt with the Witcher 1 armor, man. That was a good couple of months. Someone's like, oh, can you take commissions to build the armor again? I was like, no, I think I'd have a mental breakdown if I tried again. Kuiper, you should start an Etsy shop. I do have an Etsy shop. I've had an Etsy shop since 2016, man. So I sell my Michael Myers hands, my Freddy bus, Batman stuff. Not as much Batman stuff anymore because Warner Brothers don't like that when you sell stuff with their IP, which I get. They have an IP to protect. So Guna Hussain, what do you think of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? I loved it as a Nick Cage fan. I haven't even watched it yet, which is shame on me because I'm a massive Nicolas Cage fan. I know it's him essentially playing a version of himself, and Pedro Pascal's in it. Everyone's raved about it. Everyone thinks it's great. So I still just need to check it out, man. Honestly, I really need, when it comes to new films, TV shows, I need to put time aside and really not give it a chance, but invest in it. It's again, just trying to find time. I'm just going to cruise back on up, guys, and just answer some other questions. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but yeah, I get very excited with this stuff. What are your, Chef Andrew, what are your least favorite Michael Myers masks? Cosplayers do it best. Cosplayers do it best. Man. Thank you very much. Least favorite would have to be the original Halloween H2O mask, the one from K&B, not the Stan Winston one. The K&B one was just so blah. Like, I get that he's supposed to be, blank, pale, emotionless face, but that was nothing. It just looked weird. I do like the Winston mask. Let's not talk about the god-awful CGI mask. And also, they used the Halloween 6 mask in a few shots of H2O. Obviously, the beginning with the nurse when he kills Nurse Mariam, but they used it for a few other shots, and then they used the original K&B mask. Then the head honchos were like, we don't like that mask. You need to change it. They brought in Stan Winston, who made the Winston mask. The only shit thing is you see too much of his eyes. They're like pressed right up against the mask, and you lose that mystery. Like, that looks the best, but you can't see anything. So definitely the original K&B mask for H2O. Next up will probably be the Halloween 4 mask, man. He looks like a fucking accountant. Just weird. Just, he looks like a weenie. He doesn't look intimidating. There's something about having the actual eyebrows colored on that mask, and he's kind of like the whole time, like just a surprise look on his face. And as Frank from the Slaughtered Lamb podcast said, he has a hairstyle like Wayne Newton. Just looks silly. So yeah, H2O, the K&B, and Halloween 4, man. I think like Halloween 4, apart from the mask, is such a good movie. If they had have used the same mask from Halloween 1 and 2 for 4, I think it just would have brought it up So many notches. And I think people would appreciate a lot more from the get-go. Let me just cruise back on up here, guys. So I'm probably going to go for about an hour and a half today. Usually I'll go for 2. But I might go for an hour and a half, guys, obviously, because I've got to duck out this afternoon for some stuff. Okay. Palingi Man. Hey, Chris, do you have any tips on making a Batman costume? I'm planning on making a Flashpoint Batman costume and wondering if you have any tips. As I always say, man, like with the young man that was doing the Red Hood cosplay, have fun with it. If you want to make it your own, but obviously you're going for Flashpoint. Flashpoint's a great costume. I do love that one with the shoulder spikes and stuff like that. I'd go for the basic aesthetic of it, the basic silhouette of Flashpoint Batman, but add your own things. Because by adding your own things, you're putting your own spin on it, your own twist. You can tell your own storyline with it. You can have like Easter eggs, not literal Easter eggs, but you know what I mean, like bullet hits, stuff like that that tell a story. So just have fun with it, man, and make it your own. Honestly, that's with any cosplay, for that matter. All right, I'm gonna go back down. Everything seems to be working well so far. Whoop. Chat. Where's the chat? Chat's loading. Okay. Let me just go past here. Talk amongst yourselves. We have $5 from Mike Irish. Favorite live action Batman? FYI, any other answer than Affleck is invalid. So, yeah. You guys know I love Affleck. Bale, Keaton, they will always have their own thing. They're great Batmans. Pattinson's a great Batman in his own right. And who'd have thought I'd ever be saying that? Who'd have thought any of us would be saying that who are fans who, dug his Batman? I think he's a wonderful Batman. I can't wait to see what else he does, what him and Matt Reeves have cooking at the moment. Matt Reeves has started on the script with his writing partner. I really hope they do Mr. Freeze. But Affleck, I know we didn't see much of Affleck. He hasn't had his own solo film, so it's kind of like a throwaway to be like Affleck, considering he hasn't had his own solo film. But from what we saw in BVS and like Zack Snyder's Justice League, he's a great Batman. But that's my Batman. I like a real damaged, brutal Batman. He's been Batman for 20 years. He's Bruce Wayne's a bit jaded. He's Batman's, murderous, but you got to think about it. Keaton killed people. Kilmer killed people. Pretty sure Clooney killed people, but that's fucking Clooney. That's whatever. Neither here nor there. So yeah, definitely Affleck, man. I just hope with everything all the hoo-ha that's going on at Warner Brothers at the moment, he does come back. I fingers crossed. He needs his solo film. He needs that solo film with Manganiello as Deathstroke. But thanks for that, man. Thank you, Mike Irish. Rayfar, you're back, man. Hello. Want to get my tacos, and I realized I never turned the stovetop on. So I'm back. Was wondering what your favorite practical makeup characters in Cape flicks. Mine are Perlman's Hellboy and Chiklis's Thing. Yeah, Michael Chiklis is the Thing. That was a really good part of those Fantastic Four films. That makeup was beautiful. I do like Doug Jones's makeup as Abe Sapien in the Hellboy films. That was beautifully done. And also they went in and corrected it a bit here and there with digital. And that's where digital is a great tool, where it marries up well with practical, especially with makeup is concerned. Someone asked a question last week, what do you think about a live action TMNT movie again? I'm like, I'm all for it. If you can do, practical suits and enhance and clean up certain parts with digital. But I think the best practical makeup I've seen in like a superhero film would be, even though technically it's not a superhero per se, Colin Farrell's Penguin makeup. Like Mike Marino and his crew just went above and beyond. Like it looks so good. And now that all the behind the scenes footage is coming out, seeing how amazing he looks and just the process. And it's funny, like it's Colin Farrell's eyes, but the rest is just Oswald Cobblepot. It's amazing. So I definitely say the Penguin, man. I'm jealous you're having tacos. It's 10:39 in the morning and I feel like tacos right now, or a good breakfast burrito. But yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, Michael Chiklis. It's funny. So at the beginning of this live stream, I said I got duped by a fake photo yesterday from D23, and it was apparently announcing Cavill as Doctor Doom and Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and Seth Rogen as Ben Grimm. And I thought about it, I'm like, I could see Seth Rogen as the thing. He just voice wise, I don't know. I feel like it'd be something different, but I could totally see that. But Cavill is Doctor Doom, even though that photo was fake from the announcement yesterday. And I put it on my story, and right away, my mate, Dion, who has a Marvel page on Instagram, he's like, it's fake, dude. I'm like, damn it. So I got to take it down. And people were like, where'd it go? And I'm like, it's fake. Cavill isn't Doctor Doom for the time being, anyway. But I think that would be a really good casting choice. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Pardon me. Adrian Renner sends in $50. Holy shit. Thank you so much, dude. Hey, Chris, just dropped by to thank you for all your vids. They helped me become a much better prop maker and cosplayer. Even started my own prop shop. Adrian, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Dude, that's very generous of you. They helped me become a much better see, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. If you guys can take something away from my videos, if it's just entertainment, hell yeah. But if you learn something, like, that's the best feeling in the world. And you started your own prop shop. So what have you been making, man? Let me know in the chat what you've been making. I want to know. I'm intrigued now. Like, that's incredible. So is that like a full-time thing? Is it a side hustle? Like, is it just for you? Like, have you been doing the con rounds and all that? But that's amazing, man. Thank you so much. I feel like you need to ask more. I that's so generous of you, man. I'm still not used to all this. This is all very foreign to me, with this type of stuff. But guys, thank you so much. But that's awesome, man. Let me know, and I'll try and catch it in the chat what else you've been working on. Inside the booth, you figured it out, man. $5. Trying one last time, giving some love. Blessings to you, my friends. Well, blessings to you, man. Inside the booth and I go a couple of years back, and you sent a very nice care package with that Batman magazine and stuff like that. So thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. Again, Adrian, let me know what you're working on, man. I want to know what you're working on. And inside the booth, thank you so much. That's brilliant. My phone was giving me issues. Okay. So yeah, if you're trying to do it on your phone, I've never had to do it before, man. So I don't know what the process is exactly like. So I don't know about you guys. If you don't drink coffee, if it's tea or something, I get really sad when my coffee finishes, like really sad. It's kind of like my day's over. Not really. Where am I? Ellis Reed, what are you currently working on, Chris? So this Tuesday afternoon, I've got my photo shoot as the Phantom photo and video shoot. So I'm currently working on the cowl. So this is the urethane cowl, and what I did was cover the entire thing with a dark purple ink, and then what I do is I spray isopropyl alcohol on it and get some steel wool and wipe it back, and you can see the detail it's picking up. So it does take a while. Like, you got to give it a couple of passes. So I've only done this area as opposed to that side. So tomorrow is finishing this up. So tomorrow's Monday. Tuesday afternoon, got the photo shoot, the same place I did the Witcher shoot, and which is just up a local nature reserve for my mum and dad's. And it kind of looks like a jungle, which is cool. So originally this weekend, I was supposed to do a photo shoot down at Yass, where I did the photo shoot with Diesel the horse as Geralt, but it's raining down there. But by doing this shoot on Tuesday, it's just giving you guys something. It's also kind of calling it a day on the Phantom, because the costume's done, sans the cowl. But that'll only take an hour or so to finish up. So that's what I'm working on. Finishing up Samurai Spawn Man. I'm currently working on a Freddy bust for a client, and also a Michael Myers hand. And just campaigns here and there. I'm currently doing a campaign for Amazon Prime for Rings of Power. I'm 3D printing a little Balrog bust and doing a paint tutorial on that, utilizing some UV paints, like oranges and yellows. So like the horns and the mouth will illuminate under a black light. So that'll be a bit of fun. So yeah, it's just flat chat, but just a bit of everything, man. But that's how it usually is with my schedule. It's just a bit of this and a bit of that. Okay. Adrian, there you are. I started a 3D printing prop shop called Winter Boy Props, slowly making my network of clients / prop makers. Just started making physical props for a Mexican voice actor from Dragon Ball Z. Dude, holy shit, that's brilliant. Congrats. Winter Boy Props. I'm going to write that down, man. I'm assuming you're on the good old Instagrams. Write that down. If you are, I'd love to check out your work. That's awesome. For a Mexican voice actor from DBZ, congrats, dude. That's a big deal. Well done, man. $20 from CMDR Dark Light. Thank you very much. Hey, man, check out Cooler vests. They're a lifesaver in my Master Chief suit. Yes, I need to invest in a cooler vest. My good mate Benny, Benable Effects, wears them all the time for like his Superman, Thor, stuff like that. And he goes, it buys you about an hour and a half. So I don't know if it's the same for you, man. I need to invest in one. I just get worried that it's extra layering under there. And once the coolness stops, then the heat sets in. But like if it buys you an hour and a half, that's pretty good. And like, yeah, you throw it in the freezer from correct because it's got all the tubes through it. You put the water in, or it has water in there already, or a liquid, throw it in the freezer. So yeah, I definitely have to check it out, man. It is an investment though. Well, not an investment, but they're like $150. But like it's a practical thing. Like it helps. Like it definitely does help. It helps with your mindset too. Like the last thing you want, especially putting something like that on, is just sweating your absolute ass off like 5 minutes into wearing the costume. It kind of is a bit of a downer, especially when you're trying to get pumped for a con. You're like, oh, I'm soaked in sweat right now. I'm not having fun. But if you're cooler, you'd be surprised how much it ups your mood. You're like, yep, cool, own it instead of letting the costume own you, so to speak. You hear a lot of actors say you have to fight the suit or the suit is going to fight you. And you kind of, it's amazing how much your posture can change how you look in a cosplay / costume for that matter. So it's just one of those things where I have to buy it. Just get it and use it, man. Okay, so that. Rafa, hello again, my friend. Been watching hella horror movies lately, and the behind-the-scenes special features of The Thing and Evil Dead series, crazy informative. Yeah, man, I remember watching a doco on Evil Dead, the first one, years ago, and like, there's a few on YouTube, like whether it be an actual doco or like a YouTuber doing a documentary on it, like, you know, things you didn't know. My God, like they made Evil Dead for 10 cents, and look how that turned out. And now we got Evil Dead Rising that's about to come out, which takes place, I believe, all in a skyscraper. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, like it's just a massive success story with the Evil Dead. And the Thing as well, like the Thing is just so beloved, and it's aged so well. Like new generations are being introduced to it, and like that was fucking awesome. But Evil Dead was one of the first horror films I watched when I was a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. And I ran downstairs crying to mum because mum and I went to the video store and she rented Evil Dead and Puppet Master. And I'm like, I was oozing confidence to mum at the video shop. I'm like, yeah, mum, I'm ready. I want to watch this. Let's do it. We did. And I was screaming my lungs out when we watched Puppet Master and Evil Dead. Mum's like, well, that was a mistake, wasn't it? So yeah, man, how are those tacos, by the way? Can you please just describe them to me? I'm totally not hungry right now. All right, let me cruise down here. I show speed plus. Hey, Chris, I've been asking the same question. I'm honestly tired of tipping. Sorry, dude. What question are you asking? Again, I do apologize. Like I hope I'm catching everything, man. Again, I'm all ISO plus. Okay. Let me just cruise back up. Okay. Honestly tired of typing. All right. Let me cruise back up and find it, man. Again, I'm sorry. If I miss a question, I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I'm cruising back up. Okay. Hey, Chris, I'm doing a Spider-Man cosplay and I can't decide what suit I should wear. The Raimi black suit or the regular Raimi suit. And I want you to decide for me 100% positive on the decision. Regular suit, man. Black suit's cool, but do the regular Toby suit. I think I just prefer the reds and blues. I think that's just me. But I'm supposed to make this decision for you. Black suit's cool and all, but it's not as fun looking as the original one. So do the regular Toby one, man. I'm sorry I missed your question. Guys, if I miss your question, it's not on purpose, and I do apologize. I really do apologize. I'm obviously still getting the hang of this. But if I answered each and every one, we'd be here all day and you guys would get sick of me because I'd get sick of me. So I hope I answer your question, man. Okay, let me cruise back on down here. So how long? So I'm probably going to go for another 10 more minutes, guys. Hour and a half seems pretty good today, but today's just been amazing. UK Rocker, what brand 3D printer would you suggest if you use them? Elegoo, man. They do resin and filament printers. So Elegoo all the way. Perfect Decil. How's the Eddie Munson cosplay coming along? Chilling behind Mikey, man. I've got some of the badges there that need to be put on. I've got the patches as well. I've got the Dio shirt. Grab it. I've got the Dio shirt that needs to be cut up and put on the back as the back patch. So yeah, apart from that, it's the wig, the contacts, and wallet, chain, and rings, man. So he's going to be coming to Canada with me. So flying out to Canada on the 24th of October for HalCon. He's going to be coming to Halifax. So I'm looking forward to premiering Eddie there. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Okay. Adrian Rania, but man, I truly consider you a mentor. Always look up to you in your work. Thank you so much again, dude. Like, it was so generous with that donation. It really is amazing. Thank you. So again, I want to find you on Instagram and check out your work. And yeah, that gig with the voice actor from DBZ, that's big. Like, throw that on your resume. $5 from Rayfar. They are delicious. Carne asada tacos with roasted chilies, lime, cream sauce, low carb tortillas though, because I'm a type 1 diabetic. Okay. Fair enough, man. So that sounds amazing, by the way. Every time we use the low carb wraps, I don't know if it happens with you guys, they fall apart and crumble, but also you're like, I'm trying to be health conscious, trying to watch my carbs. Ray, in your case, you're a type 1 diabetic, so obviously you got to be very proactive with that. Hopefully you have a brand of tortillas that, they're low carb, but they're not falling apart, because every time we get them, I don't know if it's just the brand, they crumble. I don't know if it's one of those things where carbs hold everything together. Carbs make the world go around, man. Okay. Let me just go down here. Mark Gel G Pluopot. That's a mouthful. Oh, by the way, I'm also making a bat suit. Any tips I can take off the head and the tail? Wait, hang on. Oh, by the way, I'm also making a bat suit. Any tips I can take off the head and the tail and add some yellow trim on my bat logo, like in the new 52? Is it good or not? And how's your tactical bat suit? Dude, if you feel it's right, add it. Like, if you think it'll look good, and cosplay is very subjective. Some people will look at something and be like, I don't like that, take it away. Other people will be like, I like that. That looks good. You can also add X, Y, and Z, as long as it looks good in your eyes, but also do a test. If you have like a spare piece of whatever, fabric, foam, armor, print, urethane, whatever, do a test, man. Especially if it's a permanent thing. If you can take it off, if you change your mind, happy days. Tactical bat suit, man, I have not touched that thing in ages. And again, things just happen where you just lose interest. Wouldn't per se lose interest, but you're just like, I'll just get to it when I can. Like him. I got to it when I can. And finally, he's being done after 2 and a bit years. So that's what's happening with him, man. Okay. Tyrannus Graves. Any suggestions on a good, realistic bald cap? I'm planning on cosplaying Dr. Evil and don't want the bald head to look fake. Mr. Powers. So if you've got friends that do makeup, man, you'd have to get them to do it. That's what I do. When I was going to do my Bane cosplay that I just didn't really feel like doing anymore, I was going to do a bald cap, but like a vinyl bald cap. And you have to usually get them made from scratch on like a mount, like a buck of a head shape that's closest to yours. And then they got to glue it down. But any friends, like if you're into makeup and you can do it, hell yeah. It's obviously just tricky to do it at the back. If you've got friends that do special effects makeup, they can do it, get them to do it. That's what I'd recommend. Don't go buy store-bought ones from like a costume shop or Party City or stuff like that. Get them from, so here we've got Scotty's Makeup. We've got Barnes, obviously. Get them from like a reputable high-end supplier that are actually built for special effects makeup. So, you have to prosade them down and stuff like that and blend them in. That's the best way to do it, man. Obviously, it just takes a bit of time. iShow Speed Plus. Can you make a custom Woody from Toy Story like Buzz, but make Woody toy mode accurate? It's an idea, man. Like, do you also mean like make him realistic, like really dirty him up and stuff like that? Because that would be fun. Give Woody the 5 o'clock shadow and have him like hung over like I did with that Buzz ages and ages ago. Jemski, can you please put on the mask? Okay. Just for you, I will. I've got it stuffed with a big ass garbage bag. But here we go. There we go. How's that? I don't know how well you can hear me. Adrian, low carb corn tortillas do crumble a lot. Yes, they do. Hang on. I don't know if you guys could hear me that well because I couldn't hear me that well. Michael Black Shark kills Michael versus Part 4 Jason. Who wins? Oh, I think kills Michael, man. Obviously, that's just me because he just kept going and going and going and going. But mind you, so did Part 4 Jason, even with the machete split down the hand. That effect shot still makes me cringe. Ellis Reed, I didn't know William Shatner streamed. Well, now you know that I stream. That was my awful William Shatner impression. Oh, I'm sorry, you're looking away. Did I offend you? Freddy times 3. I feel guilty for this, but I love the Halloween 5 mask. There is something wrong with me. No, I used to not really like that mask. And last year I did a Halloween 5 bust commission for a friend of mine, Alex, in Canada. So he sculpted the mask, had it scanned, and then we 3D printed it. And I fell in love with the mask. I think also with the story about the mask and everything and how Don Shanks broke his nose and they put the nose appliance on it is quite interesting. There is something kind of freaky about it. I remember when I was a kid and I first saw Halloween 5, I'm like, this thing looks like an alien, like creepy. And so I get where you're coming from. And again, like these masks are so subjective, each their own. Some people hate this mask, some people love it, some people are like, it's okay. Like the OG Shatner mask is always like beautiful, whether it's H1 or H2, because it's the same mask but different actors. And it's amazing how much that mask looks different if you have a different face type. AS, are you working on any Hollywood projects? If no, what upcoming movie would you like to be involved in? Anything DC. Like if Batfleck got the all clear and, doing the solo film, 100% do that one, man. But any superhero film for that matter. But I just like any way, shape or form being involved in a film. It's good to have on your resume and with that experience and working around that environment with those people. So just anything really, man. Andre Romero. Hello, Chris. How are you? I'm doing well, man. Very busy, but busy is always good. I always love keeping busy. So I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes, guys. And I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Ian Sava. Hey, Chris. My first time watching you was your Batman cosplay costumes. You are the greatest and I'm a fan. Well, thank you so much, Ian. I really appreciate that, man. Are you talking the OG Batsuit from 2014? Because holy shit, I can't believe it's so long ago. Time flies. Time's getting away, Geeks and Geekettes. It's crazy. And we're already in September. It's just ridiculous. Okay, answered that one. Ray, I hope you are enjoying your tacos. So, yep, Ray, gotcha. Feel guilty for the Halloween 5 mask. One last tip. Please just call me Mark. Can I add a motorcycle face mask in my armored Captain America? And can I build the shield out of carbon fiber? I've never dealt with carbon fiber before, man. I've done carbon fiber vinyl wrap for that matter. But yeah, no, like that's a whole different ballpark to me. It's similar to fiberglassing, but a lot more streamlined. Like you've really got to get it right in terms of the finish looking right. But yeah, if you want to do a motorcycle face mask, like from here down, you're thinking it looked good. It looked quite rugged, actually. Joseph Productions. Chris, would you ever make a Batman the Animated Series live action cosplay? I nearly did back in 2017 when Tiger Stone Effects was still making cowls. They did a Ripper animated series cowl, and I was going to do it. And also had the muscle suit, not like a typical muscle suit, but like square. You know how Batman has that kind of square physique going on in the animated series? Absolutely. Adrian, been watching for a while too. Probably the first video I watched was the Wolverine transformation. Oh man, I look back on that video and cringe. That was very silly. And it shows, like, you look at the dislike to likes on that video, even though you can't anymore. It was crazy. But that was very silly. Like, I was below maintenance calories, water fasting, wouldn't recommend it, but I did it. I got the photos to prove it, but it was so stupid. And I've gone on the record saying that. Like, I made a video a while afterwards saying it was silly, wouldn't recommend. And there are other ways to get ripped and more safer ways to get ripped for that matter. Ellis Reed, where'd you go? How do you feel about the amount of MCU content available now? Do you find it very overwhelming? I do, 100%, man. And I feel bad when people are like, oh my God, I just watched this. Have you watched it? I'm like, no, there's too much. I get overwhelmed. Like, there's a lot going on, especially after D23 this week. And holy shit, the announcements are off the Richter. And it is overwhelming, man. So I haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I haven't played catch up with She-Hulk. I've only watched the first episode. Again, finding time. And there's so much. Like, there are always going to be people out there that are going to smash every single one of these series, movies, and stuff like that. Like, we got a trailer today for Secret Wars, Marvel's Secret Wars. We got a new trailer for Mandalorian, which is cool. I need to check that out for season 3. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I agree. It does get overwhelming, man. And it's not from a bad point of view. It's just how it is. Like, there's a lot going on. And Disney are just smashing it. But after D23, like, they've announced so much. I am looking forward to Hocus Pocus 2. That's going to be a lot of fun. Like that, I think, like with a lot of people, the first Hocus Pocus was a big part of my childhood. Jemski, question, is that mask identical to the one in the movie or just a very good replica? So it's a Trick or Treat Studios mask, man. So the base for this mask comes from the production molds for the film. It was repainted by Simon Brandolino. He's one of the greatest rehaulers for this mask in the world. He's, it's Simon, Seven Sin Studios, Remzap Studios. You got Horror Art Show. There are an array of amazing overhauls. The cool thing is Simon corresponds with Christopher Nelson, who made the masks for the film and painted the masks. So a lot of the stuff that he uses is the same stuff they use to paint the screen use masks. Simon blends his own hair too. It's not just one color hair. It's a blend apparently of 3 different color hairs, I think. But it is a beautiful replica, man. Simon's one of the best. So it's a Tots mask and also a very good repaint. I keep bumping him. It's like a bobblehead. Okay, let me just cruise on down here, make sure I've got everything. Freddy times 3, cosplay idea, the grabber from the Black Phone. Yes. So I actually had to make a grabber mask a few months ago for the premiere of the Black Phone here in Sydney. And it was a quick 3-day turnaround, 3D printed it, painted it. But yeah, it's overly pretty easy. But getting that mask right, I think that's the biggest thing. That's, yeah. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions, guys, and then call it a day. So I got Doc Snuggler PB. Thoughts on feeling largely disappointed in a final product on a whole cosplay when you finally get it all assembled and mocked up for the first time? It sucks. It really does suck. If you have time, like there's still a lot of time before a con or stuff like that, you're in the mindset. I'm just going to move him. I'm sick of bumping him. And you're in the mindset, there's work to be done, but we can fix it. We can improve it. It's okay. But there have been times where I'll put a costume on. Case in point, the Phantom. The first time I got the bodysuit for the Phantom, I was a bit bigger in the midsection, put it on, and the suit hadn't been taken to the tailor to be tightened on the sides, and everything kind of hung out. And I was just, and it hadn't been weathered, and it was a bright purple, and you just feel and look silly. Looked in the mirror, and that's why I put the bodysuit away for several months in the cupboard. I didn't work on it. And I was like, screw that. If I feel like I look bad, I don't want people saying nasty things. And you shouldn't worry about that, but you can't help but feel it. Like, case in point, someone in the comments when I started the stream said, I'm unrelatable now, which, you kind of got to take it with stride and each to their own. But yeah, it does suck, but whatever, man. Like, each to their own. But yeah, you've just got to kind of rise above it, as cliche as it sounds, and be like, okay, there is work to be done. I need to change this and that. But if you have a plan in place, overall you're going to get the product you want. And don't just settle. Be like, I want to be able to look back on this with photos, videos, stuff like that from the con, event, shoot, whatever, and be like, I'm so proud I went above and beyond and finished it the way I wanted it to. So it can suck. It can suck big time, man. It's a big part of being a cosplayer. And also just being your own worst critic. It's awful. Freddie times three, got to go, but wanted to say thanks for all you've done, Chris. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Today's been cracker, guys. I'm finding my footing with these streams a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable and not as rigid. I was shitting myself the first couple of streams. It's crazy. When my intro would play for the stream, my heart is pounding, but I kind of dig it because it means I give a shit. All right, guys, I'm going to answer these last couple of questions and call it a day. Okay, Adrian, it's an amazing mask. Pretty excited for the upcoming Halloween movie. I am too, man. The mask looks sick. The new Tots mask for Ends looks great. I can't wait to get one and repaint it, do a video on it. Should be fun. There's like mold all over here. There's mold on his coveralls. He looks disgusting, which makes sense because he's been dwelling somewhere below Haddonfield for a good 4 years, so he'd be a bit stinky. Hang on. Okay. Toby Wald, have you seen the new leaked fake trailer for Batgirl that Corridor Crew released a few hours ago? No, I'm gonna have to go check that out, man. What I'll do is when I jump off here, I'll go check that out. If it's leaked and fake, whatever, but I still want to check it out. Maybe it's the closest thing we'll get to seeing the movie. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Dr. Snuggler PB, true, much love. Ended up with my first con experience and it was fun with lots of compliments, but still working at it. That's all that matters, man. When you get those nice comments and good feedback, it's worth it. It's worth the mental strain. When you first put it on, you're like, oh shit, what have I done? I've made a terrible mistake. So it's worth it in the end, man. You kind of just got to stick it out. Guys, thank you so much. Mike Honcho, yo, Chris, love your channel, mate. Thank you so much, man. Again, I'm loving these streams. I want to make them once a week. They're just great to shoot the shit, especially on the weekend when everyone's about at home and stuff like that. So it's great. But also when there's topics to talk about, I'll be doing that. But today was just a general, just talk and shop, talking shit. That's what I just love doing. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been brilliant. Everyone, just thank you again. And thank you for being patient whilst I'm figuring out the whole live stream thing. But I think I've got the hang of it now. So yeah, I'm heading off in an hour's time to go do a campaign for DC Super Pets with my dog. So hopefully that'll be up this coming week on Instagram. It's just a post and some stories, but we've got to get it done today and submit it tomorrow. And then I'm back to work on a Freddy Bust, finishing this guy off. The Leviathan Axe video from God of War that I made should be up this week, pending approval. Just waiting on that. But yeah, apart from that, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Cosplayers do a best, you know all that stuff, but have an absolute cracker weekend. Take care of yourselves. And